Welcome my brothers and sisters in this Thursday episode. We agreed that I would devote it to general topics. In the referendum yesterday, which I put on my Facebook page, I found that the competition was heated between two subjects, polygamy, and war against disinformation. Even though, when I asked the subject, I knew in my heart that there are many men would like to talk about polygamy subject. The topic war against disinformation won by the largest votes. I honestly know that the subject of war against disinformation is one of the most important and serious subjects, and it's the most subjects that we must pay attention to, and I know it needs a great effort, a great time, and a series of episodes. Not only a one man to talk about, nor two, not three or 20 or 100. Because I said in the previous episode that, war against disinformation, they spend trillions of dollars on it. But at your request, and at your will, I will devote every Thursday inshallah, to talk about. Welcome my brothers and sisters in this Thursday episode. We agreed that I would devote it to general topics. In the referendum yesterday, which I put on my Facebook page, I found that the competition was heated between two subjects: polygamy and war against disinformation. Even though when I asked the subject, I knew in my heart that there are many men would like to talk about polygamy subject. The topic war against disinformation won by the largest votes. I honestly know that the subject of war against disinformation is one of the most important and serious subjects, and it's the most subjects that we must pay attention to, and I know it needs a great effort, a great time, and a series of episodes. Not only a one man to talk about, nor two, not three or 20 or 100. Because I said in the previous episode that, war against disinformation, they spend trillions of dollars on it. But at your request, and at your will, I would devote every Thursday inshallah, to talk about disinformation term, and it will have a special episode. Because we need to be aware of the seriousness of the terms. And they are too many terms, not a term, nor two, nor three or 10, or 20, or 50, or 100. It's a very big matters. Now, when we talk about one of those disinformation terms in this episode, you will see how difficult they are to understand. I ask Allah Almighty, I ask Him to guide us and help us. And we need to put our hands in each other's hands, to spread this awareness, and to spread the seriousness of this war against disinformation, so that the Muslims are aware about what happens to them, and to know in what degree of programming has reached their minds. Before we start this episode, I will show some scenes from the last episode. So if you haven't seen the last episode with us, you will know what are we talking about. Before we start the test, I will quickly explain to you something very important. Mankind, as scientifically known, stores the words in the brains in a form of images. So, now, if I say the word, banana, immediately, banana. A banana picture will show. I say the word, apple, chair, or table, skyland, door, windows. Anything I am saying now is a word, you imagine it, like the word, humanity. The brain program, or the brain transform these words into pictures. They will be stored in the brain so you can recognize it. Okay, the word, extremist, hardliner, petty. What did you see in your mind? Also, the word, civilized Muslim. What did you see in your mind? What picture jumps to your brain? Absolutely. A civilized Western man means a Western man. As we saw in the last episode, war against disinformation, we hear the words, and are mental images, stored as pictures inside the brain. The human consciousness is formed based on those words. Today's term, which have been trades very heavily, and they have too much pressure on it and its meaning, so that this image is visualized, exactly as they want it. This term is, humanity beginning. As we said in the mental test of the mind, say the word humanity. Immediately, what jumps to your mind? The word humanity is the goodness and the compassion. It's all pure positive thoughts. This is what comes to mind. When the word humanity is mentioned, why they are pressing too hard on this term, and why they are promoting it, and they recruits people for publishing, and dedicating this term inside our brains. Why? What is the meaning of humanity term? We want to know. That if I asked anyone, to ask themselves, what is meant by humanity? Define humanity. What does it means? No one's will be able to answer this question. There is no definition for humanity. And there is no need to tire yourself for searching for about its meaning. There is nothing as a definition of humanity. It's a loose term, a term like many terms we don't know what it means. But it's humanity. Humanity. They don't want us to define this term. And they don't want to define this term for us. They are interested in one thing only, to store the term. Mental image, and to establishing it in our minds. So, we said that this term humanity is dedicated inside your mind. It's goodness, tenderness, compassionate, loving, and tolerant, devotion, and purity. All the pure positives meanings are concisely summarized in this humanity term. So, we said that this term humanity is dedicated inside your mind. It's goodness, tenderness, compassionate, loving, and tolerant, devotion, and purity. All the pure positives meanings are concisely summarized in this term humanity. But the most outstanding question is humanity. It's an alternative for what? There is a blind trust. Any terms they propagate or promote are alternatives to something else. They want to replace the term humanity. For what? Do you want to know? Well, if we say now two words, humanity, Islam. Instantly in your mind, humanity, Islam. What jumped to your mind when I mentioned the term Islam? And what jumped to your mind when I mentioned the term humanity? Humanity. As we mentioned, it's connected with sincere mercy and pity. Everything is purely positive. Is it the same picture inside your mind when you hear Islam? Is that what happens in your mind when you heard Islam? Is it as humanity? Is it the same picture? Purity, goodness, love, and peace? Is it all positive meaning? Is it the same thought that appeared in your mind? I tell you. No. The term Islam. When you hear it in your mind, it's a mixture of things. There's mercy, tolerance, murder, and bloodshed. It is a mixture, and it's not the pure pictures of positivity. It's not like the word humanity. Did you know why they want to establish the term humanity? They want to make it jump to your mind as a purely positive term. But the image of Islam. This term Islam. Or any religions in general, but especially Islam. Those are mixtures. You may accept it, or instead may reject it. There are many pictures for Islam. Mixes, confusion, it's fine. But the humanity must be pure. Now that we have known the mental images they dedicate to us. The question is, why they do that? Why is this term, humanity? This word, humanity? The reason they want to bring all human beings toward what they want, don't say Muslims, or non-Muslims, not those things. No, there are common things they draw for you all humans. You all creators will be pushed to it. No room for you to decide. Humanity. Terminology brings together all people with their differentiations, and religions, and races. That's what they shape for you. That's the big plan, and that's why they do it. When you say humanity, anywhere, on any place on this globe, it's an acceptable word, a term that has pure positive meanings, absolutely no one rejected it. That's what they want. And then beneath it, when they succeed in making this term dedicated for them, this image will stick in your brain, inside your mind, you will be programmed to this perfectly. Now they are doing their task, conspiring, accomplishing their agendas, and do whatever they want. We don't want this to make this as only a general speech. I will give you examples for that. The humanity of China, for example, the humanity of America, the humanity of Russia, the humanity of any country in this world. Is it the same humanity? They want us to be followers of it? And worshippers for it? Question. Is this humanity? They talked about, do they export the same humanity to us? You Muslim. Think, look to their humanity. Does it the same of what they speak about? Have you seen their humanity in many of the Muslims countries? Have you seen the humanity they are talking about? They market it to you, so that you be a worshipper for it. This is the main subject, but they, and their humanity, and their principles, that's a subject for other thing. They promote to you this terminology, and made you a slave to this terminology, so you can do exactly what they want you to do. There is nothing by the name of humanity. On the ground reality, there is nothing named humanity. It's a fetish of a paste, only to eat it when you are hungry. But you must remain a slave to them. You are not even allowed to eat this god, this idol. They made it for you to worship. This is the subject. The other subjects. Let's go back to the Holy Quran, let's see what Allah, in the Holy Quran, said about this humanity and mankind. And whether there is a supported principles for it in Islam. About this humanity, mankind, is stated in the Holy Quran, more than 50 times. And I have wrote some verses on Ihari in papers, to take benefit from the short time. I will read some verses to you, that have been stated about the mankind, or humanity, in the Holy Quran, and what Allah Almighty said. Allah the Almighty states in the Holy Quran, we have explained in detail in this Quran, for the benefit of mankind, every kind of similitude but man is, in most things, contentious. Allah also said, we did indeed offer the trust to the heavens, and the earth, and the mountains, but they refused to undertake it, being afraid thereof, but man undertook it. He was indeed unjust and foolish. And Almighty Allah also said, and niggardly mankind when good reaches him. Almighty Allah also said, nay, we can put together in perfect order the very tips of his fingers. So much more Allah said. All verses on the Holy Quran talked about mankind's, or humanity. In a negative's meanings, they are not positives at all. The words humanity and humankind's is not a complement in their Holy Quran. I will prove in this by logic, and also psychologically, not only by Allah words. Allah Almighty says, corruption has appeared in the land and the sea on account of what the hands of men have wrought, that he may make them taste a part of that which they have done, so that they may return. Humanity in fact, does not have a purely positive meaning like what they want us to imagine, but as we said, they want to reproduce it to us by this way, for something's inside the minds, to make us worshipping this terminology, and then to be sincerely followers for it, whatever they wants from us. Now I will tell you what they want from us. So, humanity it's not in fact, positive at all. And this does not need big proof. Humans, are of goodness and evil, otherwise, why did religions come to us? Why does Allah send messengers? Why there are reformers, and there are peoples who want goodness. So why the messengers? Why do we see evil? Where did this come from? Why do we see the corruption? Where did this corruption come from, and this evil come from? If not humankind's, what is the meaning of humanity? Humanity is a mixture, as we says, a mixture of good and evil. Evil defeat the good side or reverses. He is not an angel, mankind's are not angels. So we can say, humanity is not essentially a positive thing. This is not totally true. But why do they devote this? And make us believe that humanity is pure goodness? They want to create for us an ideal society. An ideal ideas, of humanity. It is all purely goodness? They knows that this does not exist, and that it is not totally true. They always separate you from your reality. They come to you with things that for which Allah has says to us about. They want to keeping you away from everything, that can bring you closer to Allah. So the ideal idea, it's purely humanity. Exclusive, as we said before, the goodness, compassionate, sympathetic. Those are ideas that any person on earth loves, and that appeals to anyone. But the idea of Islam, that it has killing, punishments, and limits for humans. No, this not a good thing. This religion, controls, and restricting humans' freedom, and narrowing his ideas and desires, etc. This idea is not easily accepted. But the idea of pure humanity, such as, be a good pure individuals, help the needy and the poor, then there is no problem. Be atheists. You don't have a God, drowned in your lusts, disbelief religions. Anything, even you kill. Yes, kill. It's okay. The important thing is you are pious, doing charity, your heart is witly cleared. See, for example, their intimidation about cruelty to animals. Peace be with the animals. Yes, you find a soldier killed hundreds of peoples, destroying, or bluing, or sending his bombs from the sky, to destroy the dry lands and the water. Then if he was concerned to a cat, for example, they tell you, see the humanity of this soldier. Look at his humanity, don't look at his actions. Mankind sees positive things in the other mankind. After this, they will take you to a stage, such as, you Muslims have mercy on anyone, because you are human, because you are a good individual. O Muslim, do not say this is an infidel, we can't bless him. Or this atheist, no, Muslim. Treat with humanity, O Muslims. Do not hate the Jews, O Muslim, be a Muslim, do not hate anyone, even do not hate your enemies, O Muslim. Humanity is something sophisticated, O Muslim. Do not hate those who kills you, those who rapes your women, and those who occupying your land. Let the human manners overcomes you, O Muslim. In reality, they don't care about this subject. They don't overcome the good side, nothing. But they will kill you, and torturing you, as soon as possible, have absolutely no sympathy towards you. But they export this humanitarian speech to you, so you be a good friend, and merciful man. O Muslim, don't be like hardcore Muslims. Or like extremists. Those who says to you, Allah said the messenger says, and emphasize the people, and they want them to submit to Allah, and to surrender to Allah, and humiliate to Allah. No, no. You are human, even if he hit you, O Muslim, anyone with his foot on your back say to him, thank you. Because you are human. But if you hit anyone, or you thought about slapping someone, who is not a Muslim, you will be under our shurios. This is irrelevant to our humanity. What is important, is you Muslim. To be human, Muslim. Unfortunately, I say it sadly, and say it with bitterly, some Muslims believes themselves. I find in the social media sites, and videos site, that this brother believes he is a human, and he talks about humanity, and mercy, and compassion, and his land was seized, and they spat on him, crushing and swearing to death. Him and his country, and his land, and his life, and his religion. And there is nothing left for him. And this brother talks about humanity. Oh, you Muslim, don't believe yourself that you are a human, and that there is something called humanity. And there is something called, their Islam. So there will not be true Islam. Islam is the religion of compassionate, it's the religion of mercy, it's the religion of justice, it's the religion of fairness, it's the religion of power, it's the religion of pride, and dignity. There is no such thing as, an ideal world, humanity.